Here's the deal. Bootstrapping is where you fund everything yourself. My first company was totally bootstrapped. It was, and it's great because we own all of them. We're actually talking about maybe possibly considering discussing the option of an exit, but that's, or we might not. But
Is this Mark's or?
maybe, possibly.
How is Mark's doing? Give him a quick background on how that company is, so like,
Well, okay, it's interesting. The way that it came about kind of by accident. I am, like I said, I'm a software developer. I do have a day job. And I had a day job for a while, and then suddenly I didn't have a day job. And I was in a really unique position because I'm not married, I don't have any kids, I didn't have a mortgage, my car was paid off, my family lives in town, you know, so I was like, well, you know, stupid economy, I can go out and I can find another job doing something else, but I just had this weird feeling. I was like, you know, I want to go out and try to do something different. So I got hooked up with a group of people that do startup stuff. There's a collection of just insanely great.
They met Eric Matthews and Dave Barker.
Oh, they met Eric?
And Dave. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Awesome. So yeah, they kind of said, you know, well, hey, we know a guy that's looking for a guy, and so that's when I met my co-founder, a guy named Scott Brown, and basically I was like, you know, hey, I'm a Java programmer, and I've also done work on this platform. I've done .NET, I've done this, that, and the other, and Scott said, well, I got this idea, and also I want to do it using this brand new development language that is kind of cool and new. And I said, yeah, I've read a lot about that language, but I've never actually had an excuse to use it. And he was like, cool. Well, teach yourself this new language, and I'm going to teach you a lot of the concepts of agile development and extreme programming, and we're going to get this done. So I said, all right, cool. Actually, I'll get to some of this other stuff in a second, but because I've got a couple of videos if we have time.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, he just said, yeah, the problem is that restaurant menus are not indexed down at the menu item level. Like there's nowhere on the internet where I can go and search for dim sum and find, or excuse me, let's say something more granular, country fried steak. I can't go online and say, show me all the restaurants in town that serve country fried steak, and show me on a map where they are, and then give me user reviews of each restaurant's country fried steak. He says, I want to build that. So I was like, all right, cool. So I grabbed the book on Rails, and like I said, I didn't really have anything better to do. So, you know, it was either that or level my Death Knight, and I decided, you know, World of Warcraft could wait. So I sat down, taught myself this new language, and started doing iterative development with Scott, and it was actually pretty cool. I actually, the first month of development that I was doing, there was a weird issue with suddenly not having a job and housing, where I was actually living in my car for about a month, and so I was writing code in my car, and which was where I was sleeping. Anyway, so we got this thing going, and we said, well, this is really cool. I mean, the functionality is all there. The functional wireframes, our information schema, everything was really good, and it was a great first version. There were a lot of things that we wanted to do, but we said, you know what? This is still better than anything that's out there right now. So we'll add the extra stuff later. Let's just go ahead and do this. And then there's another thing. We sat down and we went back and forth about all these cool features that we thought would just be totally awesome to add to the site. And Scott said, you know, I agree with you. I think those would be a lot of fun, but I just don't know if everyone wants those. So we could spend an extra 20 hours adding this really cool little thing that no one would use. Or we could put this out there and wait for people to tell us what they want. So we launched our first version, and we were actually kind of under the gun and forced to launch it. Eric Matthews kind of steamrolled me into doing an investors conference that actually was held here on campus. This was in June of 2009, and it was on a Friday morning, and I was taking a day class, so I had to do this investor conference and then go to this day class. And Eric, he called me like 2 days before, and he said, "Yeah, so it looks like you're making a lot of progress, and yeah, it's time to get it done, make it happen, shake it, bake it, buddy. Go for it, do it." And I'm like, well, "What are you saying?" And he says, "There's an investor conference on Friday morning, and you got to be there." And I'm like, I don't know anything about talking to investors. I mean, I don't. Why do I even need money right now? I mean, we're hosting it on a site that costs us $30 a month. It's a great host, and we're doing all the development ourselves. We don't have to pay anyone to do it, and you know, we're advertising it via Twitter and Facebook. So, you know, why do I need to go to a developer conference, or why do I need to go to this investor conference? And I think his answer was, just make it happen. I don't know.
You guys could see that.
Yeah. So, so I said, okay, so I showed up, and it was held right over here at the Fit. I got there, Eric was there, and he kind of gave me a pep talk. You know, he was like, you know, come on, let's make it happen. And I was like, awesome. I went in the bathroom and I threw up from nerves. Came out and I sat and I talked to 5 different investors. One of whom, and I'll never forget this guy. I forgot his name, but he was an investor from. It was kind of like an angel fund that was based in Chicago. And is anyone here familiar with the actor Michael Clark Duncan? He was in The Green Mile. This dude is massive. This guy was even bigger. And this guy sat across from me, and he sat there like this, you know, he had his elbows on the table, and he was looking at me like this, you know. And I mean, this dude's fists were as big as my head. This guy was huge, and he was like, "Tell me why I should give you money." And I'm just like, "You don't have to give me anything, man." But anyway, what happened? Like I said, this was on a Friday, and the investors didn't really, you know, they were all very nice to me. They said, "We think you got a good idea. I mean, yeah, this is cool. I mean, I'm gonna use this website, but I don't see how you're gonna make money doing this. So if I'm gonna give you money, I want to know that at some point it's going to be returned. And don't tell me that you're going to sell ads, because that never works." So I was like, okay, I agree with you. Ad-based websites aren't going to work. So the next thing that happened was I was about to get ready for class, and James Dowd, who covers the business scene for the CA, pulled me aside, and I'm packing up my laptop that was running the demo, and I'm grabbing some of the paperwork that I had, stuffing it in my backpack, making sure that I've got all the stuff for my class ready. You know, I'm zipping it up, throwing it over my shoulder. James Dowd comes up to me. He's like, "Hey, I'm James Dowd with the Commercial Appeal." I'm like, "Okay, hey man, it's nice to meet you." And he says, "So tell me about what you do." I said, "Well, you know," and I gave him a little pitch. And he said, "Wow, that's really, really cool, man." And I said, "Well, hey, yeah, glad I could help." We talked, literally talked for maybe 2 minutes. So, you know, I shook his hand, and that was it. I went to class. So yeah, I went out with some friends Friday night and did standard Friday night stuff. You know, came home. I'd actually moved back in with my mom. Don't laugh. It's.
I'm laughing because this is really what it's like.
It really is. It really is. I'll tell you. I mean, it's one of those things where you have to kind of get over the shame of that, like that. So, but it was actually pretty cool because, you know, I mean, I got like breakfast on the weekends and occasional laundry service. You know, I mean, yes, I'm a grown ass man, but still. Anyway, so, you know, I came home late, and crashed out. Anyway, it's about 9 o'clock the next morning, and I hear screaming from downstairs. So I ran downstairs, And my mom has got the Commercial Appeal, and my picture is on the front page of the business section above the fold, and there's like this huge article all about Mark's Menus. I went to pick up my phone to call my co-founder and noticed I had 37 missed calls from my attorney, from I think Eric called about 12 times. And my co-founder called and was basically kind of pissed that I had spoken to the press because, yeah, he was standing right next to me when it happened. So, he's like, we've got to launch the site like right now. So, I was like, okay. So we had this mad dash because they printed the URL in the paper, and the only thing that we had that URL was like a coming soon with like the background graphic and everything. So, it was off to the races. And some of the stuff that we did, as far as, and this kind of ties into some of this stuff, as far as funding goes, if you are going to go out and look for VC, some of the things they're going to ask you is they're going to say, okay, how much money are you looking for, and what are you going to spend it on? So, and I've seen people get up and give, and it's as far as I know, this is alchemy. I mean, this is black magic, because I saw a guy get up once. He had a PowerPoint presentation that had 3 slides on it. He was making some medical device that saved babies, and he was asking for $3 million. They had an advisory panel of potential investors sitting there. They asked him all sorts of questions. His answers were, I don't know, I can't talk about it. I can only tell you that if you sign an NDA. I don't know. No, I don't have a prototype. No, I don't know how to make a prototype. No, I don't have any idea who to talk to make a prototype. That's why I need $3 million, and I'm pretty sure the guy got it. So, then again, I've seen other people get up with a business plan that is completely laid out, and they have every penny accounted for, and every single way that they're going to spend money is something you look at and you think, damn, I wish I'd thought of that, and they're told to go just take a hike. So, it's
like real life, where
it is a dice roll, but no, some of the things with bootstrapping, you beg, borrow, steal. You learn to love top ramen. You figure out how to get anything that you can. You scour the web. There's a guy who's doing a startup right now. His name's Will Murphy. He wrote a book, and it's all about like extraordinarily cheap or free resources for starting your own business. And I mean, it covers everything from business cards to getting T-shirts printed to how to set up a corporate intranet on the cheap. I mean, it's everything.
What's the name of that book?
I think it's called like Cheap and Free Resources for Startups. I think that's the title, but the author's name is Will Murphy. And I'll try to get y'all's email addresses, and I'll shoot out any information that I can get from Will on this. But no, one of the funny things is we decided when we were going to start getting the word out, we were going to use Twitter, because Twitter's free. So we set up a Mark's Menus account on Twitter, and I decided that I was going to do something cool. I posted something on there. We had a bunch of followers because the Commercial Appeal article just kind of like exploded. But one of the links that I posted is I said, the first 3 people to meet me at this place, and then I had a link to one of the restaurant menus that we have on Mark's Menus. First 3 people to find me here get a free drink, must be 21. I posted it at 9:15 on a Thursday night. I got in my car, I drove to the venue. I was at the venue at 9:30 on a Thursday night. By 9:50, I had already given away all 3 drinks. At 10:15, you could not move in the place, and the owner of the restaurant was standing up on the bar screaming, "Who the hell said that they were going to get free, who said something about getting free drinks on the internet? I'm going to kick your ass." So,
Oh no, it's coming back.
it's coming back.
Okay.
I've only got a couple more slides after this. So what I learned was, if you're going to run a promotion, talk to the venue first. Let them know. Because the guy was like, no, look, I love all this business, but there's only 2 people working tonight. There's me and the bartender is mad. So, you know, so yeah. So you got to be creative about this kind of stuff. There's a really good friend of mine. Her name is Gwen Fisher, and she's got this great quote. She says, if you want creativity, cut a 0 out of your budget. So our budget was nothing. So it was just like, okay, well, I mean, you know, but the budget was however much it cost to buy 3 drinks at the Cove. So, yeah, but yeah, and that was the restaurant, the Cove. Yeah, they were pissed at me for a while. But yeah, you got to look at stuff like that. And just and like I said, there's no real formula. You really have to look at what it is that you're wanting to do and look for cool and interesting ways to get out and do it. There was another really cool thing.